KLDR Radio Online, St. Louis, Missouri.
Welcome to Leadership 101, helping you develop the skills needed to enhance your leadership toolbox. Here he is, the always entertaining Chris Cebollero.
KLDR Leadership Development Radio. This is Leadership 101. I am your host, Chris Cebollero, back with you for another week of developing the skills that you need to have to ensure that we can take care of our most precious resource, and that is our coworkers, that is our workforce. And they are the only resource inside an organization that will increase in value. That equipment you bought, depreciation. Those vehicles you bought, depreciation. But our workforce is the only thing that we can develop and have them grow in value. And that's why it's important that we develop the skills that we need to have to ensure that we could be the best leaders possible, to grow the best workforce possible, to grow the best organization possible. Our job as leaders is to get work done through other people. You hear me say that all the time. And then we need to make sure that that work is the very best that they can give us. So Leadership 101 is all about developing the skills necessary to ensure that we grow the best workforce possible so they can assist us in growing the best organization possible. So today we take off down the path of learning another skill. We are going to take a step-by-step approach to this week's skill. And I'm going to go ahead and set this up for us now as we go. You know, people want to be part of something great. As a leader, it's vital that we create the environment where this greatness can flow and that we allow our coworkers to become the very best that we can help them become. You know, we need our workforce more than they need us. I mean, we're the ones who open the positions. We're the ones who posted the job openings. We're the ones that conducted the interviews. Now, maybe it's not us, but it's our departments, it's our organizations. And then we must put those employees into the seats, into the responsibilities. When we hire our coworkers, we are adding the necessary elements that we need for organizational success. We need to have a successful organization, and that's why the workforce, that's why the coworkers are important. Now, I just want to stop there because I use that word interchangeably, workforce and coworkers. Our workforce is essential, but they're also our coworkers. I kind of preach to the organizations that I work with that there is no one job in an organization that's more important than the other. We just have different responsibilities. As the CEO of my organization, it's my responsibility to grow the organization, to keep the organization on path, to ensure that we have the resources we need to do the job, to ensure that I'm meeting with clients and try to continue to grow the organization with clients and customers, and then all the way down to that worker who's helping assist in making the vision a reality. They have their responsibilities. Maybe it's the executive assistant who's handling the calls. Maybe it's the instructor who's going out and teaching leadership in the organization. But if they don't do their job, my job as the CEO fails. So that's why I use the word coworkers. We are all on the same path of doing the best thing that we can. Okay, so I digress. So our employees come to us with a set of skills. They come to us with some knowledge and their capacity and abilities to do the job that we're going to hire them for. And that's what's going to assist us in reaching the vision. You know, I've said it for a ton of years that we are not hiring our workforce for what they have done in the past. When they sit across from us, we see something in them and we hire them for what they're going to do for us in the future. If we do not grow our workforce's knowledge and skills and ability, we're only getting from them what they've already given other employers. I think that that's the missing component in most organizations, is that we do not see them for what they can do for us in the future. We hire them for their experience of what they've done in the past. I know what you're thinking. You're saying, well, Chris, of course I'm hiring them for what they've done in the past. But the missing component is we've got to be able to take them from where they are today to where we need them tomorrow. Not where they've been, but where we need them tomorrow. As I stated in the beginning, everybody wants to be part of a winning organization. We all would love to have a World Series ring. We all would like to be awarded a Super Bowl ring, but that's far-fetched. But we can work for a world-class organization, and then they will be prideful, and then we can engage them, and then they will be satisfied with the position. But what happens is they now create an excellent client and customer experience. That's why we're in business, and that's the moment of truth for all organizations. When we send our coworkers out to the front lines to meet those clients and customers, we have to ensure that they are going to deliver the very best that they can. And in this first step of that chain of success of an organization, that's what we're going to chat about today. Leaders have to be able to become masters at painting of what a successful organization is going to look like. Then we set the desire in the workforce to ensure that that vision becomes a reality. Let me go ahead and give you a quick little story. In one of my last operational roles, and as I was growing up, I was a paramedic, and then eventually I became a teacher in EMS, and then eventually I became a chief of an EMS department, and it was my job to lead the organization. And I took a position for an organization that, I don't want to say that they were broken, but let's say they were fractured a little bit. They had some challenges with their last leader. They had some incidents that the leader shouldn't have been engaged with, and he was terminated. There was no faith in the other leaders in the organization, and employee engagement was 17%. It was challenging. They were like 30 paramedic and EMT positions down of meeting the needs of the citizens who were calling 911. And we had to be able to construct an organization that was going to be successful. Now, this was an organization that came with a lot of history. They had an incredible reputation back in the day. And little by little, they started to lose that reputation as the organization started to crumble. All right, so there's a good setup. So then when I finally got to the organization, one of the first things that you do anytime that you take a new position, I'm going to digress again a little bit, but anytime you take another position, your first X days, maybe it's 30, is all about engaging with the workforce. It makes no difference as to what's going on in the office that you're going to be occupying. Your first days are with that workforce, learning who they are, listening to their challenges, asking them. I used to ask all the time, if you were the chief of this department, what's the one thing that you would change and why? Now a couple of things are happening. I may not be seeing things that they're seeing, or they're really understanding that their voice matters. Okay, again, but I digress. So I met with the workforce. The first thing that I did was I held meetings with the workforce so they could understand a little bit about me. I could hear a little bit from them. But at the end of that, I made this comment. I said, look, this organization is rich in history. It's rich with reputation. And who the heck am I to come here and stand in front of you with a white shirt and a gold badge and say, follow me? But I made this promise to them. I said, if you follow me and if you believe in what we're going to create, one day we will compete and win EMS Service of the Year. In the EMS career field, there's an award that you can win, the EMS Service of the Year nationally. So they pick the top EMS agency, the top ambulance agency in the United States, and they give them an award. And I said, if you follow me, we will go ahead and compete and one day win that award. I mean, it was far-fetched, but it was the vision. And then everything I did from that point forward, we always talked about walking towards the vision. And then later on, we created another vision that was a formal vision. This is kind of informal. This was the reward. When we created the excellence that we were going to create, the award was to be recognized. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that I gave them a vision. I said, you have a great reputation, you're a great organization, and we're going back to greatness. Follow me, and we're going to do it together. That's the importance of the vision. They knew that they now had somebody who believed in them that was going to walk with them back on the journey to that success. Today, we are going to talk about developing vision and developing purpose in your organization. And then what we're going to see is greatness in that organization. I'm excited to bring this skill to you today because I think it's one of the most important components that leaders have to have is their ability to set a vision, cast the purpose, and then make the vision a reality. Here we go. Everybody ready? So let's start here first. I want you to think about a door. And now I want you to think about a boat. Now, when I said think about a door and think about a boat, you didn't see the letters D-O-O-R. You didn't see the letters B-O-A-T. What you actually saw was a door. Maybe it was your own front door. What you actually saw was a boat. Could have been the last boat you saw on TV or in a magazine or whatever it was. As humans, we are wired to think in pictures, and in the absence of a vision, we have no idea where we're going. And this really starts to come into the thought of reprogramming your subconscious mind when we start to talk about picturing and visualization and even reflection. Because when we reflect on things, we reflect in pictures. We see things in pictures. And in the absence of a vision, how do we know where we're going? And certainly, how will we know when we get there, right? Now, the purpose of vision is to develop a mental picture of what the future is going to look like. It's an idea of what the future could bring. It's an idea of where the organization hasn't even gone yet. But this is where we're going. We're on this path. We're on this journey. We're moving in this direction. And when we get to this place, this is what we're going to see. It's the vision that guides us. It's the vision inside us that guides us. It creates desire. It grows inspiration. It motivates people to move. It's the vision that gives us the hope that things can be better, that we can create the best, that we can get to the next steps of where we need to go. And it's the vision that gives us a glimpse of what the future is. You know, how many times have you heard people say, or maybe you've even said it yourself, I hope that 2022 is better than 2021. If you sit there and picture what 2022 is going to look like, what do you see? And right now is the time for you to create that vision. But when we think about it from an organizational standpoint, we really have to now start to think about where the organization is going and how we're going to get there. And once you develop that vision, it's paramount, it's vital that you share it with the people who are in the organization so they know where they're going to. And they know their responsibilities into reaching that vision. You know, when I'm speaking, I'll always ask the question when vision comes up, who has a vision statement inside their organization? And a lot of hands will go up. And then the next question really kind of chills them when I say, who can come up here and recite it for me? And those hands go down very, very quickly. Here's my question to you. If the leaders of the organization don't know the vision and where the organization is going, why does the workforce need to know where the vision, what the vision of the organization is and where the organization is going? The vision statement is the most important document inside an organization and one that collects the most dust. And we have to be able to revamp that. So there are 5 reasons why vision is important. First off, it shows us where we're headed. As a leader, we've got to be able to look forward. We've got to be able to ask people, to get on this train and follow us to this point. And we've got to be able to move the organization. We've got to be able to move the department. We've got to be able to move the people forward. Vision is what helps leaders prepare for the future. When you have a good vision, the leader is on course. And whatever happens, we're still getting ready to reach the vision. Number 2, vision will provide motivation and inspire us to keep going regardless of what happens, because we're still getting to the end. It's not the goal that you reach where the growth happens. It's the journey you take in reaching the goal to reach the vision where the growth happens. So keep moving forward and, keep motivated and stay inspired. Number 3, it keeps us moving forward and moving through those obstacles. Makes no difference what hurdles pop up. Makes no difference what speed bumps pop up. Makes no difference what failures pop up. We're still headed towards the vision. And remember, you've got to be able to move towards that vision every day. Number 4, vision provides focus. This is where we're going. Anytime in an organization, sometimes the workforce would make some crazy decisions. And I would always ask them, how does this help us to become the best? How does this help us to deliver the highest quality of patient care? How does this help us be leaders in our community? How does this help us be role models to our career field? And we constantly are talking about the purpose of the vision. It gives us focus, and we stay there in that movement. And then finally, number 5, vision gives us meaning and purpose to what we do. I mean, what is life about? Why am I in this role? Why do I got to do this paperwork every day? This is really where you fit into this equation of what you do is important to reaching the vision. Whose job is it to make the vision a reality? Me as the CEO? Me as the president of the company? And this is one of the most important factors when it comes to creating a vision, that everybody's involved in this process. I gotta tell you, man, if you're one of the organizations that have a vision statement and don't know what that vision statement says, tear that vision statement up. Get the workers to the table, get the leaders to the table, and create another vision. Create 2 or 3 of those visions, and then let the workforce vote on which one they want. It's the vision. They're going to be part of this vision too, And, Ralph Lauren's got a great quote: "A leader has the vision and conviction that a dream can be achieved. Then he inspires the power and energy to get that done." And this is where it is. But if you get them involved from the very, very beginning, then they're going to be champions of wanting to make this come true. Okay, let's go ahead and take our first break. And when we come back, we are going to outline the competencies of leaders who are competent in creating a vision, who are skilled in creating a vision, and who are less skilled in creating a vision. Come back after the break. We're going to talk about those leadership characteristics. This is Leadership 101 on KLDR, Leadership Development Talk Radio. We'll be back right after these words.
KLDR Online, Leadership Development Radio.
The GC Index, the framework that is liberating leaders around the world to make their greatest impact. To find out how you can make your best impact as a leader, go to www.thegcindex.com.
KLDR Radio Online, St. Louis, Missouri.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, 2020 happened. The number one skill of a leader right now is learning how to navigate change. Everything and everyone is changing, including you and I. So join me, Simon Phillips, on The Change Show. With my guests, we'll be looking at what's working and what isn't working right now when it comes to making change happen, and how to feel more resilient. We'll also have some fun along the way as well. So that's The Change Show with Simon Phillips, only on KLDR.
Here is another leadership quote from your professional development station, KLDR Online.
General Colin Powell gives us the quote that great leaders are almost always great simplifiers who can cut through the argument, debate, and doubt to offer a solution everybody can understand. It's a very simple quote, but packed with a lot of wisdom. When we think about it, we've got to be able to be the ones who are decisive, or to help other people get to their decisiveness. And we need to be able to look at the problem, we need to be able to go through the steps of problem solving, find the solution, and then get consensus on what that solution is going to look like. What does this quote mean to you? Great leaders are almost always great simplifiers who can cut through the argument, debate, and doubt to offer a solution everybody could understand. Go ahead and reflect on it and leave a comment on our Facebook page at KLDR Online. Welcome back to Leadership 101 on KLDR, Leadership Development Talk Radio. This is Chris Cebollero. We are talking about vision and creating a vision in an organization, and then creating purpose around that vision. In the first segment, we talked about the importance of vision and what vision means to an organization, and how vision is often overlooked as being in the forefront of reaching organizational success. Then I gave you 5 reasons as to why that vision is important. Now in this segment, we are going to concentrate on the skills. We're going to concentrate on the competencies of leaders who are competent in setting up a vision, who are skilled in setting up a vision, and who are less skilled in setting up a vision. And the purpose of this segment is really to kind of talk about the individuals that have skills at different levels. Because really what we want to be able to do as leaders, and the purpose of Leadership 101 is we want to be able to look at the skill, we want to be able to define what skill set we're in, and then make the determination of how we get to the next level of our skill. Remember, we constantly have to strive to develop skill mastery, because the way that we lead people today is not the way that we lead people tomorrow. And we've got to be able to continue to grow. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about these characteristics. So as we set off down this path, the first thing that I want to say before we talk about these characteristics is that the power of vision cannot be undersold, right? So when we think about this, you may be saying, Chris, really, vision? Is this the skill you're bringing us this week? I've got to tell you that I should have brought this skill to you the first week. This is one of the most important skills that a leader can have, is we got to be able to create the vision of what a successful organization is going to look like. Remember in the first segment, I talked about that we all want a Super Bowl ring. We all want a World Series ring, but we're not going to get it. But we are able to work for a world-class organization. So if we think about the leader that's less skilled in being able to cast a vision, what characteristics do they have? So first off, these are leaders that fail to personally connect with the organization's vision. You know, as I mentioned to you earlier, when I speak, I say, how many organizations have a vision statement? And then everybody will raise their hand. Well, who can come up here and recite it for me? It's important that you know what the vision of the organization is. And people who are not skilled in the skill of casting a vision is because they don't even know what the vision of the organization is themselves. And you've got to be able to rectify this. This is one of the most important characteristics in the failure of leaders, because we've got to be able to embrace the vision. We've got to be able to say, this is where we're going. Number two, they have difficulty describing the vision in a compelling way. This really now goes to the art of persuasion as well. So once you know what the vision is, what does that look like? And how do you make that real for the workforce? What is it that you have to do to be able to cast this vision of success and then get people to buy into that vision? So this really goes to the art of persuasion, and really being inspiring, and really being motivated, and really being passionate. Number three, they can't simplify enough to people to understand a complex strategy. Again, now this is going into communication skills. So for us to have this vision, we've got to be able to set these goals. Once we set the goals, we've got to be able to develop plans to reach the goals, right? So it's not just, I want to be in the best shape of my life. There's your vision. So I need to lose weight. There's a goal. What does that mean, I need to lose weight? So the plan to reach the goal, to reach the vision, is to say, okay, I need to cut down my caloric intake. I need to go to the gym 3 days a week. I need to be able to ensure I'm cutting down my carbohydrates, right? That's the plan to reach the goal of, I want to lose weight. We need to be able to be specific. But sometimes leaders don't have that knowledge to say, how do I break this complex, goal down, this complex vision down, and make it understood by everybody in the organization. And then number four, they struggle to energize and build excitement in others. I got to tell you, one of the best skills that you have as a leader is your ability to inspire, is your ability to motivate. You've got to be able to be passionate. Remember, our behavior, our demeanor is contagious. If we come in and we're in a pissy mood, where do you think our workforce is going to be that day? They're going to be in a pissy mood. I remember saying when I was going to go talk to a supervisor one day, way back in the early days of my career, somebody was coming out of the supervisor's office, and I remember asking them, what kind of mood are they in today? And, he said, well, he's not in a good mood. And I didn't even go into his office that day because I just knew that he was going to be hard to talk to and hard to deal with. We set the direction of the organization, not just with vision, but with our personality, with our demeanor, how we approach the day. When we're inspired and we're motivated and we're smiling, and, that's contagious. And we've got to be able to ensure that we're growing people based on our passion. But the smile that we give people is the smile that we're going to get back. So some people that have these lower skills, what's the reason for that? I mean, is it malice? Is it that they just want to, be crappy leaders? It really isn't. There's a lot of reasons why people don't know how to drive vision. And we talked about some of those characteristics. But one of the things that you've got to know is you may not be vision oriented, or you may not be possibility oriented. What does that mean? Well, you've got to be able now to think about how to bring that vision to reality. And it just may not be skills that you've developed yet. Change is another thing that keeps the leaders that are less skilled into moving into looking at a vision, right? I like the way things are. I don't want to change things. I want to stay right where we are. Well, how do we grow if we're complacent? How do we grow if we don't move ourselves forward? How do we grow if we're not going to ensure that tomorrow looks different from today? It's the same everyday ho-hum, humdrum that keeps us in the same place that we are. Another thing that keeps people from growing this skill of vision is they're not people persons. And I don't know why you're in a leadership position if you don't like people. As a leader, our job is to ensure that we get work done through other people. If we're going to be abrasive, if we're going to be finger pointing, if we're not going to love the people that we work with and accept them for who they are, how are we going to be successful as leaders? Some other characteristics is they're stuck in the past. They don't want to move and grow forward. They don't know how to show emotion and passion that we talked about. And they lack authenticity. They're fake and they're phony, and people can see right through them. If you're in this less skilled of creating a vision, this is really about looking at yourself. What do you believe? What do you want to believe and move forward? So the people who are skilled in creating a vision, they talk about the future and the possibilities in a positive way. Right? We know where we're going. We know where we need to get to. We're going to increase sales. We're going to increase customers. We're going to be the best department in this organization. We're going to be the best organization that we can in this state. Is that far-fetched? Well, maybe. But can you attain it? Maybe you can. It depends on how much passion and inspiration and motivation you bring into the workforce. Another characteristics of the people who are skilled, the leaders who are skilled in creating a vision, they're able to create milestones and symbols to ensure that the people are moving towards the vision every day. Remember, when we talk about goals to reach the vision, you're not going to reach the vision tomorrow. You're not going to reach the vision. You're not going to reach the vision next week, but you've got to be able to develop goals to reach the vision. How do we increase sales? How do we bring in more customers to our organization? This is where the goals come in. Every time you reach a milestone and goal that's moving towards the vision, celebrate the small wins. People need to be able, you don't win a Super Bowl ring by one game. You've got to win 16 games plus the playoffs, right? Well, as you're now moving towards the vision of getting the Super Bowl ring, we need to be able to win the games as we get to the goals. We need to be able to ensure that the vision is understood by everybody. Meaning, not that they understand where the organization is going, but what is their responsibility into reaching that vision. It's important now that everybody knows that they have the stake in the organizational success. Remember, I said earlier in this show that no one job in the organization is more important than the others. And we've got to be able to make sure that everybody from the CEO and president down to the person who just got hired yesterday is just as important as everyone else in the organization. And then we've got to show a personal commitment to reaching the vision. We've got to be the ones who are the cheerleaders. We got to be the ones who are out front. We got to be the ones who are there saying, follow me, and we are going to be successful together. And then the leaders who are competent or the leaders who are talented, they're able to make the vision shareable to everyone. Everybody knows exactly what's going on, and they live the vision every day. They're able to articulate the vision over vast personality, because the way that I talk to you about the vision, the 16-year employee, is not the way I talk about the vision to the 6-month employee. We need to be able to have the skill to communicate the vision with sense of purpose about the future. Big deal. We got this vision statement. What does it mean? And then finally, we need to be able to instill and sustain organizational energy for the success of the vision. This never goes away, man. When we think about inspiring people, when we think about motivating people, when we think about engaging our workforce and ensuring that they're satisfied and ensuring that they're productive and ensuring that they're able to create an excellent client and customer experience, we've got to be the cheerleaders every day. We've got to rah-rah every day. We've got to show our passion every day. We've got to step towards the vision every day. I may sound like a broken record here, but I want to be able to instill in you the importance of what this little skill is all about. You know, we need to develop a vision. But it's so powerful in the organization. It's something that is overlooked. But if you don't give people a direction of where we're going, they're not going to get there. And we're in business to be in business. And it's all about where the organization needs to go to be successful. I got to tell you, in my job as a leadership consultant, organizational process improvement specialist, it's all about casting a vision. And I've got to tell you, the first things I do in organizations is ask the leaders what the vision of the organization is. And then I ask the workforce what the vision of the organization is. And if they don't know it, the first steps that we do in the organization is we're creating this very important foundation. Okay, we've come to our next break. When we come back, we are going to now go through the 10 steps of what you need to do to ensure that you're setting up a vision and you're casting a purpose to reaching that vision. I'm Chris Cebollero here on Leadership 101. You're listening to KLDR, Leadership Development Talk Radio. Join us after the break where we hit those 10 tips and get you on to the next level of your mastery in creating the skill of vision.
Your personal and professional development resource.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
KLDR Online.
They play everything I want to hear.
Join us for Conversations on Leadership with Dr. Dave on KLDR Radio, a weekly visit to the crossroads of leadership, communication, and engagement, where we provide captivating conversation while helping you create your compelling company culture. Get meaningful insights on these topics from fascinating interviews with top business leaders, trendsetters in leadership research, and perceptive commentary from your host and leadership expert, Dr. Dave Miles. That's Conversations on Leadership with Dr. Dave on KLDR Online Radio. See you there.
Join Judith Germain on the Maverick Paradox. Judith will discuss maverick leadership in all its guises with experts in their own fields. Have you ever wondered where you can find maverick leadership and what it is? Well, join the Maverick Paradox on your leadership development station, KLDR.
Enjoy this leadership tip. KLDR Leadership Development Radio.
Today's leadership tip is all about keeping yourself motivated. Self-motivation is one of the toughest things you have to do in business and in your personal life. Number one, understand your why. What's the purpose of you doing what you're doing or you setting this goal? This is really where the vision comes from. So understand and know your why. Number two, stay focused on that big picture. The vision is where you want to go. The vision is what you want to attain. In the absence of a vision, we don't know where we're going. Keep your eyes on the prize and stay focused on that vision. Number two, get active. And this isn't just get active in how you're going to meet your goal, but get active in your life. Usually when we come home from work, we want to sit around, read the paper, catch up on the social media, and we don't do enough things for ourselves. Keep yourself motivated by staying as active as you can, and again, keeping your eyes on that big vision. Number four, use motivational quotes to keep you going. There are so many quotes out there and so much wisdom in those quotes that you can now get that inspiration that you need to be successful. You need to ensure that your desire stays as hot as it can be. And the last one, self-reflection. Sit down and analyze your day and make the determination of why things happen the way that they did. Think about what your future is going to look like and make the determination how to get there. Self-motivation is all about you. This has been your leadership tip from KLDR, Leadership Development Radio.
KLDR Online, Leadership Development Talk Radio.
Follow us on Facebook at KLDR Online. Like our page and join the discussion.
Welcome back to Leadership 101 on KLDR, Leadership Development Talk Radio Online. I am your host, Chris Cebollero, excited to be with you once again as we continue to talk about casting a vision in our organization. In the first segment, we talked about why vision is important and how we move our organizational forward to ensure that we get to our ultimate success as leaders. Second segment, we went ahead and talked about the characteristics of the leaders who are less skilled in casting a vision, who are talented in casting a vision, and who are skilled. Who are less skilled in casting a vision, who are skilled in casting a vision, and who are the most talented in casting a vision, and what characteristics that they have. I got to tell you, I think that this is my favorite part of the show as we set off now to talk about the top 10 tips that you need to know to develop and be able to cast a vision and purpose inside your organization. And I am just so excited to get started. But before we begin, I want to go ahead and talk about some of the other shows that we have here on KLDR, Leadership Development Talk Radio. Check out The Change Show with Simon Phillips. Simon has been helping organizations, teams, and leaders navigate change for nearly 3 decades. He'll be sharing his insights and interviewing a range of special guests on some of the trickiest leadership challenges we face today. If change is the only constant, we've all got a lot to be curious about. But listen to Simon every Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 7 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time and 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And another great show, join Dr. Dave Miles on his show, Conversations on Leadership with Dr. Dave. This is where he will highlight standing at the crossroads of leadership, communication, and engagement, and he shares tips on how to navigate those roads. This is your journey to help you grow in your personal leadership and craft your company culture. Dr. Dave offers meaningful insights on these topics from industry experts, top business leaders, and trendsetters in leadership research. You can take this journey with Dr. Dave every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, here on your leadership development station, KLDR. Well, let's go ahead and get back to vision. As we know, in this segment, we count down the top 10 things that we need to do to be able to bring vision and purpose onto our leadership toolbox. And first, we're going to start number 10. We need to be able to ensure when we're creating a vision that we are able to connect the big picture. What does reaching this vision mean? How will it assist the organization in becoming successful? How will it help the organization's coworkers in becoming successful? So why is this work important? Why is the responsibilities that everybody has vital to the success of the organization? And I think that's just going to be very important. So when you're casting a vision, there are not just words that say, we're going to increase market share, we're going to be the go-to vendor, we're going to be the company of choice. But why? Why is that important? So connect the big picture with an understanding that vision is important to people in every single role, and then connect the link as to why everyone is important in every single role. All right, number 9. We want to be able to have a clear vision statement. Now, you would have thought that maybe that would have been number 10. Let's create the vision first. But what you want to be able to do if you don't have a good vision statement, and again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, if the leaders don't know the organizational vision, why does the workforce need to know the organizational vision? And if you don't know it by heart, get the workforce to the table, get the leaders to the table, and craft a vision. Now, what you need to let everybody know is that their importance of reaching the vision, right? We talked about that in tip 10, but now create the vision that you want to be able to attain, but get those people who are going to be doing the work to the table to let them help the organization craft the vision. We know where we want to go, right? So it's not just going to be an arbitrary thing to say, let's paint all our cars pink. We want to be able to say, okay, this is what we do. This is what we want to try to get to. How do we put that into words? Number 8, We want to be able to keep that vision short. You want this to be on the forefront of everybody's mind. You want this hanging on banners around the warehouses. You want this on the back of their badges. You want this on, in the offices where people can always see it. One of the organizations that I helped work developing a vision, they put it right over the door as they were going into the break room and right over the door as they were coming in and out of the department. And the employees started to touch it as they were going into the break room and touch it as they were coming into the department or leaving the department. And I think that that's really, the involvement into the vision of what it means that we're all striving for the same point to make the vision part of the success of the organization. But I've now got a stake in that vision. Number 7, we want to go ahead and tailor the message to match the audience. Now, when we think about this from a vision standpoint, we all have one vision, but we all have responsibility into reaching that vision. But we want to be able to talk about that vision across vast personality. And sometimes we need to be able to think about the audience that we're going to be talking to, whether it's new employees, whether it's incumbent employees, whether it's the high performers, the solid performers, or the low performers. I got to tell you, one of the things that I do as a best practice in the hiring process is I give them their job description to read. We talk about their job description. We talk about the vision. I let them read the vision and ask them what that vision means to them. And then I talk about the goals that we're in the process for, of what their goals and their role will be to reaching the vision. And I want to have a discussion about it. I don't want them to come into the organization and then discuss the vision. I want them to know it from the very beginning, because this is part of the organizational socialization of them coming into the department that they need to understand. Okay, number 6. This is one of my favorites, is we really need to be able to communicate the vision with passion. The vision always needs to be forefront. I've talked about it that I was, in my young days, I was a paramedic, and then I became the chief of an ambulance department later in my career. And I had a lot of big leveled positions. And I would tell people all the time, they'd say, hey, Chief, I think we need to bring this course here. Or, Chief, how about getting this piece of equipment? And I would say, well, how does that help us reach our vision? There were 3 components in the vision: delivering the highest quality of patient care with clinical excellence, being leaders in our community, being role models for our career field. There were some flowery words there in the middle. But I would say, how does this help us deliver the highest quality of patient care? How does this help us be leaders in our community? How does this help us be role models for our career field? Everything that you do, you've got to be able to verbalize this vision with passion. You've got to let your charisma come out. They've got to be able to feel the power of that vision. One of the things that we need to do with our 5th tip is we need to be able to align the words with actions. Now, this is where the disconnect happens of people who don't know the vision statement, because we're doing tasks, we're doing responsibilities, or maybe we're not doing the right thing in action that's moving towards reaching the vision. We have to be able to ensure that there are consistencies between the action and between what we're doing to reach that vision. So that's one of the biggest disconnects and one of the biggest mistakes that leaders make, is that we're not consistent in the actions and the words that we're doing. And this just isn't about vision, ladies and gentlemen. This really is about everything that we do as leaders. We have to ensure that there's consistency in our words and in our actions. This is where favoritism comes into play, because we say one thing, we do another thing for those employees that we show favoritism to. This is a big mistake when it comes to leaders. And not just with vision. We've got to ensure that we're consistent with our words and our actions as we move forward in our daily responsibilities. Okay, number 4, the 4th tip. Sometimes in the process of developing a vision and in the purpose of reaching that vision, we are going to come up against resistance. As we know, people do not like change. One of the things that people will say they don't like change is because they don't have confidence in their leaders that they're going to be able to pull the change off. But we may meet resistance. There may be skeptics. You know, in one of the meetings that I had with the workforce one day, I talked about this new vision that we are going to strive for, that we are going to be able to do, that we're going to be able to meet, that we're going to get back to greatness in our career field, that we're going to get back to greatness with our organization. And people said to me, I am skeptical. I don't believe it. And I said to them, I want you to be skeptical because I have to prove it. It's not just about the words. It has to be about the processes. It has to be about the action. It has to be about the journey that's reaching the vision. And we always have to ensure that we're making people feel comfortable that we are on the right path, that we are striving for excellence, that we are going to attain the vision. But we have to make people comfortable as we change processes that they may have been doing for years and years. I mean, we hear the answer all the time. Why do we do that? Why do we do that skill? Why are we doing that process? And what do we hear all the time? That's the way we've always done it. So change has to be part of the process of reaching the vision, which means that we have to ensure that when we're reaching a vision and we come up against resistance, it's because we haven't communicated the vision well enough. And we need to do it constantly. We just don't communicate the vision on one day. We've got to be able to communicate the vision constantly as we strive to reach the vision every single day. So when we meet resistance, it's all about communication. When people have resistance, it may be because of the lack of communication. Now we're to number 3. We are getting up there, ladies and gentlemen. We are at our third tip. Sometimes we have to be able to talk about the team success in reaching the vision. We know that there's individual responsibilities to reaching the vision, right? I mean, our job as leaders is to get work done through other people. And we've got to ensure that people have goals to reach the vision. Every single role in the organization has a responsibility to reaching the vision. And no one job in the organization is more important than the other. And that usually gets an eyebrow raised when I say that, especially around CEOs and presidents and so forth, because they think that their job is the most important. You know, really it isn't. You know, we have to be able to ensure that we do our work, but our work doesn't get done if the people who are on the floor, if people who are in the warehouse, if people who are in the factories aren't doing their job. We just have different responsibilities in reaching that vision. So everybody has an individual responsibility. But tip 3 isn't about that. Tip 3 is about, just because I have individual responsibilities doesn't mean that I'm not part of the bigger team. I'm not part of a bigger department. I'm not part of a bigger project. So we have to be able to envision and talk about team success. So it's individual responsibility, and then it's team responsibility and team success. And sometimes this is where competition comes in play, right? We need to be able to ensure that team members understand how they are working to reach the vision. Individually, this is what I have to do. But individually, my work is part of a bigger system, is part of a bigger team. And we've got to be able to talk about that team success. And this is a lot of communication, right? When this comes down to it, this is a lot of feel good. This is a lot of talking. This is a lot of, envisioning. This is a lot of strategy. And it all starts with good communication. Number 2, we have to be able to ensure that there is a sense of urgency. And this is another one of those mistakes that happen in organizations. We have to be able to ensure that we are continuing along the process to reach the vision in the time frame that we set forward. This isn't about, maybe one day we'll reach the vision. This is about when we start this journey never ends until we reach the vision. And we've got to be able to have this vision in the forefront. And everybody's got to know that there is this vision. This is our 3-year vision. This is our 5-year vision. This is our 1-year vision. These are the goals to reach the vision. And we've got to be able to ensure that we're scheduling to reach those goals in the amount of time it's going to take us to reach the vision. And this is one of the things that we don't do. But there needs to be a sense of urgency, and we've got to be able to create that urgency. When we talk about vision and purpose, creating a sense of urgency is also about creating a desire to do your job the best that we can, to ensure that we reach the goals, to ensure that we reach the vision. This is one of the mistakes that we make in organizations. The things that we do have to be based in time. The goals that we reach, we know are based in time. And reaching that vision is all about getting the vision done in the right amount of time. And this is where urgency comes from. This is what creates purpose. This is what creates desire. And desire is the fuel for all achievement. And we've got to make sure that we're creating that desire, which now will spark this sense of urgency. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now to our number one tip. And this one is going to be very, very important. And we've talked about this structure of being able to set up the vision and being able to create purpose. And over this last hour, we've really spent a lot of time in talking about the importance of vision. But here it is. The number one tip is you need to be able to assist your workforce in understanding and overcoming adversity. This is all about perseverance, because here's what happens. It's not the goal that you reach that develops the organizational growth. It's the journey you take in reaching the goals where the growth of the organization is going to come from. Because we sit there and we come up with these goals, but we don't know what we don't know yet. We hear that all the time. And hurdles are going to pop up, and speed bumps are going to pop up, and challenges are going to pop up that we didn't even think about. And this could derail the team. We just talked about creating desire. We just talked about creating urgency. When we come up against the challenges, when we come up against the speed bumps and the hurdles, this could derail the vision. And we need to be able to ensure that we give our workforce the lessons needed to ensure that they can persevere. Perseverance is one of those things that we really are not taught. And we've got to be able to allow the workforce to understand that when we're on this journey together, everything isn't going to run as smoothly as it can. I got to be honest with you. This is one of the number one reasons that personal goals are not met. Remember, it's not the reaching of the goal where the growth comes. I said it before. I'm going to say it again. It's the journey we take in reaching the goals. On the personal side, when these hurdles pop up and these speed bumps pop up and these, challenges pop up, it derails us and we get off the path instead of continuing down the road of our own personal goals, meeting our personal vision. But this carries over to the workforce as well. And we've got to be able to help the workforce understand that perseverance is one of the most important things that they need to learn in this journey to reaching the goal that reaches the organizational vision. Ladies and gentlemen, this has just been a great show. I've been very excited. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm very passionate about this. I'm kind of passionate about all things leadership. And again, I appreciate the opportunity to come and share my leadership knowledge with you. But this is about vision. This is about casting what we need to be able to cast to ensure that we're going to be successful as leaders, that we're going to be successful as an organization. And this is why we need to be able to make certain that the vision is the forefront of our organization. Number one, we have goals to reach the vision. Number two, we have plans to reach the goals. Number three, and that everybody knows their responsibility into reaching the plans that reach the goals that reach the vision. This is your blueprint towards this success. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining me once again on Leadership 101. This is your leadership development talk radio station, KLDR Online. Check out our website, www.kldronline, and check out some of the other hosts that we have on this radio station. This is an incredible resource, and I am excited to be part of it. We have hosts that are sharing their expertise from all over the world, and go ahead and check out those hosts. You can see more about them, again, on our website, www.kldronline, and follow us on Facebook at KLDR Online. And go ahead and share your thoughts with us. If there are certain shows that you want to be able to hear, you can reach out to me, or you can contact Julie at Chris Cebollero, Chris, CEBOLLERO.com. and let her know what shows you want to hear, and my team will put those shows into production for you, because this is your resource. I want to help you develop the skills to be successful in leading the most important resource we have in our organization, and that is our workforce. I'm your host, Chris Cebollero, and join me next week as we take another skill and develop it to grow our leadership toolbox. Everybody have a great week. We'll talk to everyone again next week.
KLDR Radio.
It's informative. It's helped me grow as a person.
Your leadership voice is heard here.
It's my station.
The GC Index, the framework that is liberating leaders around the world to make their greatest impact. To find out how you can make your best impact as a leader, go to www.thegcindex.com.
Here is another leadership quote from your professional development station, KLDR Online.
This quote comes to us from Theodore Roosevelt. The best executive is the one who has the sense enough to pick good men and women to do what he wants done, and the self-restraint enough to keep from meddling with them while they do it. I think there's a lot of wisdom in that quote. And what does that quote mean to you? Let me give it to you again. The best executive is the one who has the sense enough to pick good men and women to do what he wants done, and self-restraint enough to keep from meddling with them while they do it. Go ahead and think about that quote, reflect on it, and go ahead and put your comments on our Facebook page at KLDR Online.
You are listening to KLDR Online Classic Hits.
This is John Mellencamp.
Hi, this is Jonathan Kay from Journey.
This is Steven Tyler from Aerosmith.
And the best leadership development talk radio.